Hi, thanks for joining me today. Are you wanting to know how to take the initiative in the family rather than being overwhelmed by everything that's going on all the time and demands being made of the way you live and the way you are? I post once a week, so subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell and I'll let you know every time I post. There is one way that step-parents can solve problems, and I call it finding a system to carry the load. Putting things right in your step-family, or getting things the way you want them to be, or getting others to do things differently, is incredibly difficult when you're in the step-parenting position in the family, because you're not the parent and your influence is less. So what you can do is you can find for every problem a solution which, once implemented, will work by itself. It's called putting in a system to solve the problem. So instead of you taking responsibility for it, or talking to people about it, or having an argument, or addressing it, or having to deal with these problems all the time, take a step back from that and instead don't complain about the problem as it's happening or immediately afterwards, but retreat and think, what system could I put in place to solve that would solve this problem? It's amazing how you can think things through so that you can organise for problems to be solved in different ways. So, for example, if you've got a child that's very disruptive and they're upset the peace, think about it. It may, in time, be possible to organise for that child to have an activity, or to go out, or to be with somebody, or to invite a friend round, or go out with friends, or that's a particular time of day that they go out with their parent, or you set up something in the house that people do at that time. It may become screen time that becomes available at that time. You need to think creatively and out of the box to think of solutions that will solve your problem without you actually having to say anything. If, for example, a stepchild comes into the house and only wants to speak to their parent, then rather than object to that, think of a way that that problem could be solved by putting in a system that will make the problem less or disappear. Maybe you set it up so when the stepchild comes to visit, the first thing they do is have a couple of hours with their biological parent, and then that sort of eases the situation and things are less stressful afterwards. You say that, what you're doing is avoidant, you're solving the problem by removing yourself from it some of the time. But no, don't see it like that, because actually in step families, often there's lots of division, and you're sometimes living and being in parallel sometimes. Lots of step families talk in terms of there being two families living in the household, not one. You're not one united family, but two separate entities that live in parallel with each other, and you have crossovers at certain times. That might be a helpful way of looking at it. So it's a positive. You're actually coming together at some times instead of having to feel as though you're living separate lives and you're being isolated and ostracised from things. If the child comes into the house and begins to disagree with what is happening and thinks that they don't have to abide by what you're doing in the house rules, things like that, then I would recommend introducing regular communication. Have a meeting every time they come, or a good time to have a meeting is just before they go, because you can review what the visit has been like and set things up for next time. So through regular communication, once you've got the communication system in place, you can use it to address all sorts of things that you don't like in the family, under the guise of it being a chat or a catch-up or a meeting to discuss how things have been. I think what I'm saying is that it's very easy to be cowed by all that's going on around you and feeling as though you're overwhelmed by this situation you're in. And what I want for you is to take back the control a bit. So things that you want to change are within your grasp to do it, even if that is only by retreating, planning, patience and waiting for the right time to introduce it, then introducing a system that then solves the problem. That way, you remain in not complete control, but control of what's going on more. And you can feel as though things can move forward, you've got mechanisms for solving problems, and things don't get on top of you so much. There's one final thing. In order to be strong like that, and to take initiative, and to introduce systems, and to not be pushed back or pushed into living a way that you don't want to live, you need to be strong and look after yourself. So you need to do things that build your confidence and that make you feel okay about being in the life you're in the relationship you're in the family you're in, and you can participate and even have a hand in its direction. Having a hand in how the family is managed is incredibly important for you, and it is worth fighting for. But it can sometimes, in a step family, seem like an absolutely impossible task. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. You can find links to our social media and website in the description box below.